All right. Hello, guys, gals, and non binary pals, and welcome to the Fae Realm for this evening. I have the stream open on another window specifically so that I can, logged out specifically so that I can see when ad breaks happen or don't happen, because I'm never entirely sure. It's always an interesting situation, but that means there's more things for my cats to knock about because it's just been that kind of day. As I said in the go live notification, there is a storm system currently moving through the Bay Area. My lights have flickered twice today already. 3 times. Twice while I was making dinner. So we'll see how long my power lasts. I'm hopeful that the power maintains through the stream and the evening and doesn't go out for any reason whatsoever. But it's always a possibility. So today we're going to be playing some more Vampire Survivors, which is always a good time, running around shooting things. I got a bunch done during work today. Discord is amusing at the moment. Yeah, that is what it is. But thank you all so much for coming and spending part of your evening with me. We're going to go ahead and jump into the game as soon as I can find it on my screen. Go ahead and fade over here. All right. You gonna actually show up in my thing? No, you're not. You don't want to at all, do you? Cool. Love that for me. Thanks, buddy. Yep, it's that kind of day today. Just kind of have to mess around with the game a bit to put it back where I want it to be. But, the things that I should check, more regularly if I were like a professional streamer or stuff like that. But I'm not. I'm just here messing around. Thank you, Samus, by the way, so much for hanging out and the lurk and the 10 bits. I truly appreciate it. Also, I want to acknowledge Danny and Cody, who are my newest subscribers. That happened yesterday while I was off. I wasn't even around and y'all subscribed. I truly appreciate that. That is very lovely of y'all. But we're gonna... Oof, the wind is something. The wind is something else today. I like rain. I don't mind rain at all. What I do mind is the constant movement of, because I live in a really old house. So the threat of having things just get shut down on me is always very real. I haven't finished any of the levels with Pasqualina. Pascal. Her name's Pascal now. So we'll just... Jeez, that wind. We'll just go ahead and start with that. Sure. Yeah, we weren't able to record today for the redacted reports because of the wind is too powerful in so many places and might knock out power for some of us. But I don't care as much about sound. That sounds so bad. I don't care as much about sound in this streaming because there's usually music covering it, and I can just mess around. Thank you, Jay Matthews. Yeah, I also love a good storm if I know that things are going to be solid. That is always a danger, always a consideration for, are things going to be the way that, are things going to stay on? And I mean, I live in the middle of a city, so if power goes out, I know that it's going to come back pretty quickly, or at least not put me in any danger. It's more of a pain than anything else. Really what it is that this is an old house, and the wind rattles everything, and that's just a terrifying sound. What do we think these things are? These malformed clay things that were running around. killing. Well, you know. More health. More health. Especially since I'm getting tromped. Down to half health already. Not a fan of that. Although I do love the clock lancet for the ability to just stop everything around me and just be like, no. Ooh, yeah. Armor. Give me the armor, please. So I came across a set of strategies for how to kill the Reaper, or at least hold off the Reaper in the library specifically, which is where I am. Probably not going to try it on this run, but I will probably be looking it up for the next one just because I'm interested and I want to see if I can make it up to minute 31 and deal with the Reaper. You know, don't fear the Reaper and all that. Just because I want to get that trophy. There's trophies and unlocks for that sort of thing, and I want to get it. And I'm always interested, like, it always interests me which games use, like, a Reaper mechanic. Like, the Persona games have a Reaper that shows up, at least 2 and 5. I didn't play 4 enough to really remember if there's a Reaper in whatever the Mementos analog is. I should play that again. I have Golden on my Switch, and I could pick that up very easily on Steam, so I could even totally stream that. Really what I want to stream at some point in the near to middling future is Persona 3 Reload that just came out like 2 days ago. I've been hearing there's a lot of good quality of life improvements now that they've learned so much from what they did with Persona 5. Because, I mean, it was not 20 years from when Persona 3 came out to when Persona 5 came out. But, I played Persona 3 when I was 20, very shortly after I moved out of my parents' house. I am now 36, so it's at least 16 years old, possibly older. I need to look up the release date at some point. So, you know, they've learned a lot in the last, decade and a half or so of making games, and learned from Persona 4 and 5 what people like and what works for them. That's not bad. I picked this cider up when I was visiting my sister, because one of the things that I like to do is, whenever I go to a new place, especially within the States, is find the local cider section and just try out what they do for ciders. Got to introduce my Rowan to Tomb Raider tonight. He's getting super enthusiastic and was asking, Dad, am I old enough for this? That is adorable. That is absolutely adorable. Wow. I mean, the game is probably significantly older than he is. How did he take to it? Did he enjoy it? I mean, you said he's super enthusiastic. How was it for him compared to, like, more modern games that he's played? It's so funny, too. I think I knew when I named Agent Rowan that Rowan is a gender-neutral name. I always forget that, though, and so every time I see you post about Rowan and Declan, I'm just like, wait, what? Highly amusing. Oh, I'm so glad that he's loving it. Good on you for showing him the classics. That's really cool. I know that, it can be hard to, like, get a hold of the classics these days, or for kids who are used to newer games in the way that they're set up with all the quality of life stuff, it can be hard to go backwards. And I say that very much for myself too, because I mean, as I've said before, I was never much of a gamer as a kid, so I don't have the muscle memory that a lot of people my age do. Yeah, camera angle tends to be the BBEG in a lot of those older games. I mean, heck, as people who've heard me complain about Baldur's Gate 3 will attest, these days camera angle can still be an issue. Big ol' axe. I do love that the axe is just like yeeting big ol' battle axes over your head. Tremendously fun. What other when you are done with Tomb Raider, what else are you planning to introduce him to? Any other, like, classics then that you think his life will not be complete without him having played? I ask in a not-so-secret bid to build a list for whenever I do the "so what did I miss?" gameplay streams, which is on my list of things to do. Because, as I've said, for my generation, I'm very behind on video games. And, yeah, I want to know what I miss. What should I have played? What should I play? I know, it's a tough question, isn't it? It's like whenever someone asks you, to name your top 5 movies or whatever, and your brain goes blank, and you go, I have never seen a movie before in my life. I have no idea how to answer this question. Oh, that's fair. I think one of the ones that are on my list of things that I experienced but didn't really get into is like the Sonic games. I played a little bit of one of the Sonic games. I don't remember which one, because it was at the system that I played it on was at a church that my family did a prayer group at. So I didn't really, I could play a little bit of it every once in a while, and I never played very much of it because I was bad at it, and I was around my siblings and our friends, and I didn't want to look like an idiot, like anyone else. I was bad at it, and so I didn't want to demonstrate how bad I was at it. So I never had the time to get good. That's part of why... Hi, Baus. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. It's that kind of night. Just kind of around tonight. Was watching a stream of my friend Jen earlier today, and she is so high energy and fast and funny, and I'm always super impressed by her, because I'm just over here like, I can't imagine talking that fast and coherently, and I can't imagine actually no, absolutely not my style, which is fine. I'm much more the more quiet, laid-back kind of streamer, unless I really get upset about something. But yeah, I think one of the ones that Halo's a good one. Halo's a great one for that, actually, Jay Matthews, because I have never played any of the Halo games, so I should add that to my list of things that I should play that I've never experienced. Whether or not I'll like it is entirely a different question. But, it's worth trying. So, Halo, at least one Sonic game, possibly more. I'm hoping to get a video converter here fairly soon, so I can plug my PlayStation and my Switch into my computer and actually stream with a controller, which would be great. I also want to. I want to stream things like Stray Gods, which I own but have yet to start playing because oh my god, it looks so good. It looks so good. What a cast. What a concept to be able to, you know, interact with the Greek myths by way of song. Ooh, Resident Evil's an excellent choice. Do you think that you'll go for any of the remakes, or are you gonna go for the older ones that, you know, warts and all playthroughs? I should try Silent Hill 2 again. I tried it and was getting so frustrated with the controls where it's like, it's not even that, you know, he's bad at fighting. I understand that from like a storytelling concept. I do not understand how this guy can walk so poorly. But I'll probably give it another try because I do like horror as a genre. I'm not sure how I feel about horror as a video game genre, which is a very different question. Because, you know, I plan to play the Five Nights at Freddy's games because I've been obsessed with the lore for, gosh, coming up on a decade now, but I've never played any of the games. I'll have to share a meme that a friend sent me that was one of those moments of I have never felt so seen in my life, and I'm not entirely sure I like being seen quite that well. That's a yeah. But yeah, so that's on my list. That's in my plans. I have not done any of the Dark Pictures anthology games. I've heard about them, like Man from Medina and crud. What is Until Dawn? I should try those out because I do like, you know, choices matter kind of games, assuming choices actually matter, which is always a question in those sorts of like branching path, choose your own adventure type of games. Yeah, I should give those a try. I will say one of the things that I'm loving about playing through Dragon Age Origins is voicing my own character. I'm gonna miss that when I move into Dragon Age 2, where there's actually like a voiced protagonist. Yeah, there's a lot of games that I am familiar with because Yahtzee Croshaw has done reviews on them previously on Zero Punctuation and now on Fully Ramblomatic. So there's a lot of games that I'm at least passingly familiar with that I have never played, but have something of an opinion on just because I've watched other people play them and heard his reviews on them, and I generally like the thing that I will always say about Yahtzee is I may not always agree with his perspective, but I always see where he's coming from, if that makes sense. Which I guess is why I've been following Yahtzee for 15 years now, something like that. Jeez, it's been that long. I wasn't at the beginning of Zero Punctuation, but I was very close to the beginning. What a time. What a time to be on the internet. I've been thinking a lot about, you know, my early days on the internet lately because I've been reconnecting with people that I knew back then that I was very close with back then. And just marveling over how different the internet was and felt then. And I mean, the fandom wank and the fandom drama has always definitely been a thing. And it got vicious sometimes. Like, people can be like, oh, you know, things were better in my day, blah, blah, blah. It's like, We were teenagers. We were stupid. And we took stands on things that really truly didn't matter. I was there for a lot of the shipping wars and flame wars and comments of fanfiction.net and, you know, people making their writing career out of taking down other people's writing and making commentary on it, which is actually very cool. It was part of what taught me how to write back in the day, was looking at what other people did poorly. Yeah, AIM chat rooms. That's how I learned to type, which means that I've never actually learned to type correctly. I am very much a hunt and pecker. I type with my first two fingers and my thumbs. Because that was how I learned to type quickly enough to keep up with what was happening in AIM chat rooms. The very first... I don't know if you were ever in this corner of the internet, Jay Matthews, but the first chat room that I ever spent time in was the WWJD chat room. That was a time. I must have been 14 at that time. I was definitely too young to be on the internet at that time, especially with, you know, there was nothing that was really consolidated at that time, so it was a super disparate experience. Yeah, that chat room area was wild. And that was where I first started using, like, anonymity on the internet, which I have completely flown in the face of ever since, where I'm just like, I don't care. But man, at that time, I was introduced to the WWJD chat room by the mom of a friend that I would go and like have sleepovers with, and we'd get on the computer sometimes and just hang out. And I think that was the place that they sent, that we were directed toward, because it was considered to be like a safer spot, because, you know, in a area surrounded by Christians, of course it's going to be safe, you know, for a given value. Sorry, for a given value. But yeah, that was where I first started really spending time online. And then I was over on Council of Elrond. I've gone and searched some of my old posts on the Council of Elrond forums, and man, what a time that was. That was where I learned how to actually, that was one of the places that I learned to actually write, was spending time on Council of Elrond, because I was learning how to tell stories in a communal environment with the writing role play, which I guess it's not too much of a surprise that that's where I got some of my chops as a communal storyteller. I do still prefer the like slower pace of writing roleplay, because you can actually think about what you want to say before you say it. But there is a lot of magic in just reacting to what's going on. I've gotten better at it and faster, but man, the anxiety was very real at the beginning of that streaming career. Yes, give me all. So much XP. All of the XP. Yeah, our PC was provided by the homeschool council that we were part of, and while I had my own PC that I worked on, it was out in the public area. I still found some very age inappropriate places to be on the internet at that time, because I was a teenager who was curious about things that I wasn't supposed to know about. Let's just leave it at that. Definitely learned a bit more than I maybe should have. It's one of the reasons why when I'm chatting with my sisters who have kids, and they're talking about like the internet stuff, I'm like, look, they're gonna find this stuff. The best that you can do is always have an open realm of communication with them, so they can come and talk to you if and when something goes wrong. Because that's just kind of the nature of the beast. And I mean, yeah, parental controls are great for that, but the kids who are growing up on computers are very tech savvy and know how to use Google to look up how to get rid of those things. Just saying. Not to say, you know, let your kid go wandering around on the internet with no controls and no conversations about safety and stuff, but yeah, kids are very, very clever, and it startles me sometimes just how much they know. Where it's like, oh yeah, no, you grew up where there was at least in a time when there was at least one of these in every household, and you carry a computer around in your pocket at all times. You're gonna find your way into weird spaces. So, yeah, I don't envy people who are parenting in this generation. I feel like there's a lot of open questions with that sort of thing, where it's like, Godspeed to y'all. Yee. There are truly a few things that I love more in this game than watching all of the XP come hurtling towards me. Soul Eater. Hearts flavored with just a hint of garlic. Oh, who am I kidding? I am not a hint of garlic kind of NB. I'm very much the kind of person who's like, oh, I see the recipe says 1 clove of garlic. You must have misspelled 5. Love garlic. Love it so much. One of the easiest ways to tell that I am not, in fact, a vampire. Faye, no. Well, that's another question, isn't it? But I do love the weaponized garlic in this game. I mean, you know, it's Vampire Survivors, and that is like quintessential vampire. Or at least what's in the cultural zeitgeist. actually don't know if web camera, like what kind of mirrors web cameras use. Although I think that the issue with mirrors back in the day is that they were backed by silver in order to give them that reflective quality. And silver was considered such a pure metal that, you know, it's why silver is a very traditional, like, hunting implement for the unnatural. That was, I think that's why they couldn't be seen on mirrors, was because they were silver backed. Ask Lady Bedivere if you want a more in-depth study on that. She is much better at the vampire lore than I am. She has like most or all of a degree in like vampire folklore. So if you want to know more about that stuff, ask her. She's much better at it than I am. But from what I understand, that was part of why mirrors weren't really why vampires couldn't see themselves in mirrors. I don't think that's the case anymore. We use other things to back mirrors, so that would take that ability away real quick. And also, I mean, who would use silver in mirrors anymore? Too expensive. Although that said, I wear several silver rings, so sure. Let's do some chaos. I'm down for chaos. Hello, dead boy. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Come and hang out. The water's fine. How's your weekend going, friend? Now that it's nearly over. I'm just hanging out, killing a bunch of vampire and folkloric enemies here and discussing folklore, which I am woefully underqualified to actually talk about. I am delighted that you're ending your weekend with me. What games did you play? Did you play tabletop? Did you play video games? Were you playing... Oh, were you playing Persona 3 Reload? How is that? I definitely have that on my list. I may stream that at some point. I haven't decided yet. Because that feels like it'd be good to like get onto the bandwagon of, because it's brand new, just came out. But also, like, I've been into Persona 3 for 16 years. So it feels like a good match for me specifically. Yes, Red Whip. I can absolutely see how Reload would be both an old friend and a new friend all at once. That's very much the impression that I've gotten, is that there's a lot of upgrades for quality of life to use what they've learned from, you know, the 16, 17 years since it came out, while also keeping to the heart of what it's always been. So I really do need to play it. It sounds like it was done well. Which, I mean, good for them, because doing, like, definitive editions or whatnot is really hard. I should do that. I'm planning to play through Persona 5 Royal New Game Plus anyway, once I obtain an Elgato to plug my PlayStation directly into the computer, because I've already done a full run-through of Persona 5 Royal on my PlayStation and have no intention of buying it again on Steam. So I'm waiting until I can get something to plug my PlayStation into the computer. And I mean, I want to be able, like, I like having Persona games with a controller, so. But I may well pick up Reload here in the next few days, possibly after I get paid from a job that I did, to stream that, because, man, that would be fun. Actually, I should go wishlist that on Steam, just to make sure that I have it marked in my brain as something to grab. One of the cosplays that I really want to do from Persona 3 at some point is Mitsudo. She's always been my favorite. Shocking absolutely no one. She's an elegant redhead with a rapier. Gee, I wonder who I would be called and attracted to. Also, the fact that I love Makoto as much as I do in Persona 5 is kind of a testament to how cool of a character she is, because, like, she's not my typical. Yeah, finishing up the social links and the codex are the biggest reasons that I want to do New Game Plus on 5 Royal, because I have all of the stats brought to their highest levels. So I have the codex. I think I have the codex at like 75% or something, because I was making a point to try and do as many of them as I could in there early so that I could have them available when I go back in for New Game Plus. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping to be able to get the Elgato here fairly soon. Mitsudo, Chie, and Makoto. Yep. That's pretty close to my list as well. Like, I like, oh, what is her name? I like some of the other girls in 3 and 4, but I've never really been interested in them in that way. I will fully admit that my first run through of Persona 5, I romanced the goth doctor. What can I say? I don't have one type. I'm non-binary, pansexual. I refuse to ever make a choice. I mean, Takemi is a great... she's like the quintessential goth girl type that people like to go for. It's very understandable that before you really get to know like Makoto and how cool the other characters can be when you get past their shell, Takemi is just she's an easy one to look at and go, yep, nope, hot, here for it. Especially that cool dress and spiderweb leggings that she wears. Such a cool outfit. Like, she'd be super easy to cosplay. I might at some point. One of the things that I want to do as like a series cosplay for like a con at some point is all of the Phantom Thieves in their school uniforms, but with a face mask, because going into a con without a face mask it does not appeal to me. But with face masks that are based on their Phantom outfits, which I think would be tremendously fun. Ugh. Sorry, Dead Boy. I'm still trying to figure out how to turn off the thing where it yells at people for using caps. I know there's a way to do it. I have yet to figure it out. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's definitely a cosplay plan that I have. Not least because, like, once you get the Academy pants and skirt, you have most of the bases for most of the characters' school uniforms. Like Yusuke, Akechi, and Futaba are the big exceptions to that because, you know, they have either different school uniforms or no school uniform at all until much later in the game. Have a good night, Jay Matthews. Thank you so much for coming and spending part of the evening hanging out. Always lovely to see you, my friend. Yeah, Haru's hard. Because she comes in so late in the game and it's hard to connect with her. And that's not fair to her, but it's also the truth. Where it's like, man, I really wish that the game hadn't messed her about so badly. It's such a shame because I really like the idea of her. I just, I wish. I wish they had treated her better, frankly. Let's see. Just for my curiosity. Bobby. Oh no. Starting whipping his Mirage robe. Blah, blah, blah. I want to know how to boost up the Mirage robe. Attract orb. Okay. Try to remember that. I'm gonna... Let's see. Let's start you in the Mad Forest. Why not? Which one is P5T? Tactica? Yeah, I haven't gotten to play Tactica. I've played one of the other ones. I can't remember what it's called. Where, I mean, I haven't played much of it because it's not super appealing to me personally. Hi, cat. Just had a cat bunt me under the table. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically like running around and beating things up in a very like big showy kind of way. Difficult game, that one, for me, because like my brain does not jibe with those sorts of tactics very well. Strikers, thank you. Because I was never much of like that kind of a gameplay style player. But yeah, I have Strikers. Maybe one of these days I'll actually, like, finish it. Because the story's interesting. I do like stories where it's like, you thought you were done. And now you're going to have to deal with everything else. There's still consequences to what you did. This is fun music. I like messing around with the music in this game. Trying all the different modes. This has like a ponderous feel to it. No. Yeah, canon in those games, especially in the Persona games especially, can be just so confusing because it's like, what is the source of truth on this? And that can be really hard to gauge. Especially when it's like, well, this didn't happen in the main game, but it gets referenced in other games. So is it real? What's real? Which, boy, ain't that an existential question. Gonna see if I can get both of the burbs. Oh, okay. I didn't know about new members of the Velvet Room. That's pretty neat. Yeah, the Velvet Room is one of those things where it's like, I feel like there's deep lore going on here, and I don't know what it is. Although that might be because I've been... Because I've been part of, the game theory community for a decade at this point, and so my brain is just always like, ooh, but what's the lore? Give me the lore! Because, it's always Igor. It's always Igor, but it's always a different attendant. And I feel like that there's an interesting story behind that, because why is it always Igor, but the attendants are always different? And they always act like, Igor at least has a reasonable understanding of how humans behave, even though I'm fairly sure he's an elder god. But his companions in the Velvet Room never seem to understand how humans actually behave. Like, that's one of my favorite things in 3 is... It's Elizabeth in 3, right? You can take her out to do things out on the town and teach her about people. And, like, I love that sort of thing. Yeah, the way that they handled... Because, like, the games industry is not particularly well known for loyalty, unless they're forced to be. But I've noticed that, at least in Japanese games, they tend to be pretty good about acknowledging, when a character has passed away, or when a character's voice has passed away, and handling it in a really respectful, cool way. So, well done. Because I know that also happened in Kingdom Hearts 3, I believe. Because they were going to have, like, Phil come back, and then it was like, nope, his voice actor passed away. We are not recasting that voice actor. Which, cool. Good on them. But yeah, getting to actually like take the companions out on dates and experiences out in the world. Like I haven't really gotten to do that with Teddy in the femme version of P3. But I also haven't played that very much, in fairness. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hard part about, voice actors is that they're people. And eventually, even though their characters will forever live on and someone else will take up the mantle of Batman for Kevin Conroy, it's not going to be him anymore. And I wonder how different that's going to feel. Like, are they going to go for someone who sounds a lot like him and, try to pretend that things are as normal as they can be, or are they going to go for something completely different? It's hard to say. It's hard to say what the right choice there is. Is there a right choice? I don't think there is. Like, what's the most respectful to the character, to the actor who's passed on? Okay. But in fairness to Junpei as being the Lover's Arcana, he's very much the masculine version of On. And On, it started off as Lover's Arcana. He may not have been the one that I would have chosen to put as Lover's Arcana, but I can see what the rationale is for that one. Also, I just find Junpei to be incredibly cringe in general. Even when he gets better, he's still so cringe. I like Akihiko better. Akihiko is a much more interesting character. Oh, that could be because he's very much like the paladin archetype in the group. I don't remember that girl's name, but I know who you're talking about, and that would have been a really interesting combination. I think that would have been a good way to really deepen Junpei as a character, where it's like, yeah, no, he's in love with this girl, and she is against everything that he stands for, and what comes of that. I think that could have asked some really interesting questions that didn't quite have the courage to go with. But I mean, I like morally gray characters. I think they're interesting. If they're done well, anyway. Morally gray characters can be very interesting, but boy, do they have to be handled with care. Because that can be too easily turned into, oh yeah, no, they're just a jackass. And that's not interesting. That's not fun. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm really looking forward to starting that's one of the reasons why I'm really looking forward to starting Vampire the Masquerade with Dan, because I know that he's going to present me with things where it's like, there's a lot of grayness in this question. You can't just be the solid black and white, there is no compromise here kind of a character. You're going to have to make choices, and sometimes it's a choice between bad and worse. Yeah. The truth of C's in Persona 3 is dark. Dark, 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 dark. Sorry, what were you trying to say without the caps? You be excited. I need to figure out how to turn off that thing with the caps, because it's starting to irritate me significantly. I like people yelling in my chat. I think it's fun. Whee! That is an idea that's being kicked around right now. I will tell you this, at least because you're one of the only people that's hanging out with me today. We are looking at potentially having, at the very least, we're planning to record it. Whether or not it gets released anywhere, we'll see. But I think because it's going to be just me and Dan, just the two of us telling a story together. And I think that there's a lot of good potential in that as a podcast and outside of just being a live stream. Because the live stream is going to be fun. I'm really excited for that. But I think it also has a lot of opportunity to be really interesting with more editing to it. So, we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. Decisions have not yet been made, but we'll see. Yee. My burb has a friend now. Try to get the other burb, the white burb, to go with my buddy. But yeah, it is at least a thought in the brain pan to have that VTM be a podcast as well as a live stream. No decisions have been made yet, though. We're still thinking about it. It's going to depend, honestly, on how much I can handle editing with all the stuff I have going on in my life. Yeah, I'm not gonna say just yet what clan my vampire's going to be in. I know where they're going to be going after they're embraced, but part of the story is going to be their embrace, which I'm really excited about. Honestly, I'm really excited just to play that game with Dan, because there's a lot of really interesting storytelling potential in, you know, a GM and a player together. I'm excited about it. We'll see what happens, of course. Like, life is always... I mean, honestly, Dead Boy, if you're interested in learning, we can talk about that, because a lot of the base stuff would be relatively easy to teach. But we'll see. We'll see, because I mean, of course I want all of the podcasts that I'm involved with. Come on. I want all the podcasts that I'm involved with to be as, meticulously edited as the redacted reports. But I have to accept there's only so much time in a day. So, we'll see. We'll see what I'm willing to accept in my work. Because I do have to accept at some point that not all of my things can be perfect. Sometimes it's enough to just do the thing. Ah! I just keep dying! This character is cool, but trying to stay alive long enough to actually, evolve this robe is tricky. Not a fan. Is this it? Is this it? Yes! Finally, I have evolved the robe. I can die in peace now. Yes! Achievement. Achievement unlocked. I'm gonna futz with the game for a second because it's not sitting the way I want it to. There we go. Sorry about that. I mean, trying out a bunch of characters is definitely a good thing. All right, I can purchase this character now, and I have enough gold to do so. Look at that guy! I love them! Oh my gosh! It's a big old badger! I love them! Ooh. Well, this character's absurd. And I love it. I have put just an absurd amount of time into this game, to be perfectly honest. Why is everything so zoomed in? Is that just my screen? Oh. I have unlocked so many characters and so many things at this point. It's actually kind of absurd, but I have a lot of fun. Look at this badger. What a boy. Carrying like a little sack over his shoulder. As I unlock characters, I'm just like, sure, let's go with this. This is all nuts. Let's just roll with it. Hi, Sam. Yeah, I'm a badger now. Look at this guy. He's a big old chunky sweet boy. I mean, you are allowed to lurk and make a commentary. It's fine. The badger does have a name. I didn't catch what it was when I picked them. If you want to... Thanks for the subscription, Sam. Is much appreciated. Esquite? Dead Boy is referencing Esquire. Oh, you're Sam Esquire. Well, I think Esquite is funnier. Dead Boy's referencing Rowan from the Redacted Report's real name, Samantha, aka Sam. So you know, you're being compared to one of my favorite characters I've ever played. But sure, you can be Sam Esquite. Badger, 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 badger. Especially when it's special agent redacted. Where it's just like, I mean, everyone knows, but in like the main game, we don't use real names. It's all code names, even though we all know each other's real names. I bet you he does keep mushrooms in that sack. Just like chomps on them to be like, yes indeed. Quite. What a strange environment I find myself in. It's because they don't have mushroom for anything else. Not to badger you about it. Classic. Classic. Love it, Sam. Yeah, I think I'll keep Sam Esquite for a while. Lovely fellow. Dear friend. Yeah, the shrinking ring of killer plants is definitely a challenge. I'd like to just run around the inside of it and, deal with it that way, but it's definitely a pain in the patootie. Lucky my phone didn't fall over. These green boys are fun too. Trot, 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 trot. I just love his little belly. It's so cute. Welcome back, Esquire. Good to have you here. Yeah, the garlic definitely makes it a lot easier to just like charge into groups of enemies. The other option, of course, is to have just so many projectiles going on that you're just surrounded by a circle of death caused by all of the things that you're hurling in every direction. What I really need is the attractor orb, so I can get more of the stuff in. Because I have so many things going on here and don't have enough of a pickup range to get them all. Irk. Such irk. I have never seen any of the Bill and Ted movies. That is definitely on my Captain America list. Have you seen the third one, Sam? The third Bill and Ted movie? Obviously, I haven't seen any of them, but I'm curious if you've seen it and what you think of it after being a fan for, however long you've been around. That is definitely a problem with, like, movies or games or things that return to older franchises. They, I think, don't necessarily understand what the magic of it was and are more looking to, like, try to recapture it without really understanding it in the first place. And then, of course, there's, like, the big movie studios that are so averse to taking risks. And, like, so one thing that I think made older movies really work was that they just had so few cares to give that they were just like, we're just gonna try stuff and see what happens. When there was a little bit less of the, like, blockbuster need to, like, make everything work immediately in order to make money back. I think one of the only, like, better known movies that's really captured that lately has been Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I have seen, and oh my god, if every movie could have that level of I don't give a shit while giving all of the shits, that would be the best possible timeline. Yeah, there used to be the ability to just be like, we're gonna make movies because we want to make movies and because they're dumb and fun, and there isn't this expectation that everything has to be, yes, good, that everything has to be an immediate huge blockbuster, or, you know, any movie has the potential to take a studio into just like automatic collapse. So I kind of miss that, and I'm hoping that the indie space is able to step up more into that, seeing the success of Everything Everywhere All at Once and similar smaller movies. Where it's like, you know, not everything needs to sell well in China. It can just be a good movie. It can just be fun. It can just be schlock. Bring back the schlock, dang it. Although that said, I absolutely have Barbie and Oppenheimer sitting over on the the TV stand. I have heard very, very good things about Godzilla minus one. Like, I have heard people be like, "Oh my god, I haven't thought that much in a movie." You know, I haven't walked out of a movie thinking that much in a very long time. And yeah, I really want to see that. I have heard very good things. And it coming out not long after Oppenheimer is very interesting. Like, not that I think that it was like a response to it, but also kind of. Oh, good, Gemini. I do like Gemini when I have the birds, because then I effectively have a flock of birds flying around my head. Yeah, I think one of the problems that people have with Godzilla movies is that they're just there in general to, like, see the big monster smash a bunch of things, and the people are kind of tertiary, and you're just kind of nodding your way through what their story is, before you can actually get back to the thing that you care about, which is seeing Godzilla smash things. But from what I've heard, Godzilla minus one is, and it's kind of a prequel, isn't it? From what I understand. Because, I mean, Godzilla minus one, right? Kind of a prequel, without necessarily committing to any of the particular storylines. Clue was so good. I never saw Clue in theaters, but I did see that over at a friend's house. We had, like, a day of Ren needs to watch movies. So I saw like 3 movies while I was working on other things, and Clue was just absolutely bananas in the best way. All right. Splodies, big splodies. And I mean, which ending was real? Do any of them have to be? Very much raises the, well, what is real question, doesn't it? Yee. Gold rush, gold rush, gold rush. I did not know that about Across the Spider-Verse. I have only I've seen Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse once each. I saw Across the Spider-Verse. I saw Across the Spider-Verse in theaters and loved it, but was also really disappointed by the sound. I guess that I got one of the versions before they were like, "Oops, sound got mixed for the wrong thing." Which, grumble, grumble. You get paid millions of dollars to be a sound designer. Grumble, grumble, how dare. But yeah, both of the Spider-Verse films, absolutely stunning. Absolutely spotless. Miles Morales is such a great Spider-Man, and his story and the Spider-Verse stories are just beautiful. Oh, hey, Sam. I was asking this question earlier. I don't know how, like, involved in video games you were as a kiddo, but I'm curious. If you were to recommend an older game that is, like, quintessential to people of our age, TM, what would you consider to be, like, quintessential? Keeping in mind that I have never had a whole lot of video games that I grew up on. I've played a little bit of Sonic. I've played all of one Legend of Zelda game and a little. So I've played all the way through. I have played all the way through Oracle of Time and part of Twilight Princess. Sounds good. Go get your lunch, Sam. Good chatting with you. I might still be on when you come back. We'll see. And if not, well, you know. It's always good to hang out with you, buddy. Yeah, I feel that, Dead Boy. Like, one of the quickest ways to, like, kill my enjoyment in something is to see other people's opinions on it. The Redacted Reports fandom has been really good so far in that it really is encouraging and, you know, it's the kind of fandom that I always wanted to have for anything that I create, where it's like, yeah, you know, this is the place where we encourage conversation and storytelling and all of the things. So I've been very grateful with the community that we've been able to build. But also I understand not wanting to get anyone else's opinion until you've had your own. I mean, ideas are fun. Yee. Burning hands. Yeah, I suspect Beddoes is going to be kept to his time frame, but you know, we'll see. I'm glad that I decided to play him though, because it gave me the excuse to just be the calm and collected one in general and just be like, all right, there's all sorts of things going on. I'm going to go make tea. Because I do enjoy playing those sorts of characters. Not going to lie, though, I'm really glad to get back to Charlie. I do love my southern boy. Yeah, the fun thing about Beddoes was that he spoke so slowly and so infrequently that when he did, everything that he said was kind of a zinger because I had to put a lot more thought into whatever he was saying at the time because like cutting in on these people who talk really fast and really loudly meant that I had to have something to say. And snark is always a good way to express that. Yeah, what's interesting, I think, because I mean, Dane is also a very talented actor. He just has a lot of fun playing those two very similar characters. I'll be interested in future flashbacks to see what he chooses to do as far as that goes because like I'm absolutely not going to be the responsible character in the next flashback. I refuse. Even if that does mean the characters die a lot faster, that's fine. I can live with that. You know, it used to warn me when ads were going to hit. Okay, that's cute though. It used to warn me when ads were about to hit. It doesn't do that right now, and I'm really frustrated about that. So, that's a thing. Welcome back. But yeah, I mean, Dane is also a very talented actor. He just, like, as we were talking about in the After Dark last night, there's a tendency to have, especially when you live in characters for so long, there's a tendency to have the characters kind of default to who you are. I have just spent a lot of time developing a bunch of different, you know, types that I tend to play. Beddoes is definitely my more grumpy side, which is honestly a lot of fun to get to delve into. Such a grumpy boy. Burb. Rainbow burb. Definitely the annoying part about these plants is that they're so much harder to cut down, even at this level. Very annoying. Very much so indeed. See, the problem with, like, go by your gut kind of characters is I am very... I don't know, how familiar are you with Terry Pratchett's writings? Because I very much think of the way that I play as being very... the way that I play, I think of very much in terms of Tiffany Aching. Terry Pratchett is an excellent writer, and I make no apologies about introducing everyone to his work. Tiffany Aching's books have a concept of second thoughts and third thoughts. You know, second thoughts are what you think about what you think. Third thoughts are what you think about what you think about what you think. And I have a lot of those, like, third thoughts where I'm constantly in my head and constantly, like, thinking about all of the things that I am doing or have done or could do. And that's a challenge. It's a challenge to just, like, go with my gut sometimes because I don't want to necessarily. I like being more thoughtful about the way that I play games and the way that I play characters. Oh, it's a thing that I enjoy, that I tend to be more of a deliberate player, and I like that. Which is why I tend to end up being the mom friend in every group that I'm in. It's going to be interesting with the Vampire the Masquerade game because I don't have other people to react off of necessarily. It's just going to be me and Dan. So I don't know how that dynamic is going to change things. I'm super interested to find out, though. One of the parts that I do love so much about this game is when there's so much going on the screen that I run into things like trees and pillars and don't necessarily know that they're there. I always find that hysterical. Yeah, turning off my brain for a character is incredibly difficult for me. And it's not something that I really enjoy. The closest to that, I think, might have been Alexandria. Because at a certain point, she turned off rationality because Donna was in trouble. And I mean, Dan is easy to react to. He's kind of an improv artist's dream because he very much is like, just run wild, have fun. And he gives me so many things to react to, and I won't have the luxury of being able to hide behind anyone else. So I get to actually like dive deep and experience all of that for myself by myself, which I'm excited about. I'm also super nervous about it, to be perfectly honest. But I'm also excited. I wonder if we say Dan's name enough, he'll appear. We were gonna record tonight, but there has been so much. There have been so many storms in the Bay Area, and enough noise going on. Because I don't care. I don't super care about the sound quality for this, for streaming. But I really do care when there's like massive wind noises and thumping sounds. When I'm recording for redacted reports. Carve through these plants. Badger is ultimate gardener. Just chew my way through. Nom 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 nom. Thunder being the new pen click. At least I can control the pen click by threatening the people who do it. Can't do that so much with Thunder until I figure out how to get a hold of Thor. Whenever I can figure that out, then I'll have more control. Also, Deadpool, you might be just the tiniest bit evil having fun with the Father loves you always. Always. You have entirely too much fun with that, my friend. I don't think I'm gonna... I might be able to get the garlic fully evolved by the time that the Reaper comes for me. No, probably not actually, because it requires a certain kind of drop. Okay, good. Paladin, huh? Yeah, alright. I can see that. The music combination with this is so fascinating to me. I like it. It's good music. That's why I picked that, but fascinating. Bet I can hit level 100 before the Reaper comes for me. Getting close. Got less than a minute left, but there we go. 99. There we go. There's the 100. I don't know if there's anything special for taking this character to 100, but I like it anyway. Alright, almost time for the Reaper. There he is. Hello, Betty. He's so fast. All right. Survive 15 minutes with... Oh, his name is McCoy Oni. Love that. Aw. Prince of Parodies, Bard of Zaltana, and Paladin of the Hug. That's lovely. I'm going to take a quick break because I need to go use the bathroom if my mouse will cooperate with me. Thank you, mouse. And I'll be back shortly. And we're back. Welcome back, everyone. Gonna get back into the game. Decide what I want to play. Oh, I see. That's where that came from. Nope, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. That might happen. Thanks, Dead Boy. It's good to be back. Relics. Capella Magna. Subar Clerici. Do I have that character? I am not sure. Because I have Clerici, but I don't think I have Suar Clerici. Papilla. Just trying to figure out what I can unlock at this point. Oh yeah, Papilla with her frickin' Song of Mana. Ugh. Sure, let's do her. Sure. There, that's good music. Alright, do I have anything for Song of Mana? Because as a starter weapon, that one's rough. Okay. Unlocking stages is basically just playing a bunch. I don't know how much you've played, but it's mostly like getting relics in the different in the various biomes and unlocking characters. I have a ton of areas. I mostly stick to like the forest and the library when I'm streaming because those require very little thought and I can just hang out. But mostly for those, it's like finding a relic. So usually that's like just running in a direction of like a question mark until you find something interesting. Let's see if we can hit level 50 with this girly. Yeah, excuse me. The library is pretty cool, and that is also like the next level that you can get. If you're interested, the Vampire Survivors wiki is very good. It's how I have found out how to do most of the like combinations and evolutions to unlock weapons. Highly recommend. It's a good spot to just go and hang out and like learn a bunch about this game. Oh, there's a ton of lore in there. Heck yeah, still going. Hello, Sam Esquire. How are you, my friend? Welcome back. How was your lunch? Yeah. Gotta do a lot more jinking and jiving at this level. Let me see. That was always the case with my lunches when I was working at the hospital. They always had to be so fast. It's really frustrating, honestly. Let's go ahead and skip. It's also part of how I learned to eat as fast as I do. I have to consciously slow myself down when I'm hanging out with people. Because otherwise I'd just like nom through my food. Because it was a half-hour lunch break when I worked at the hospital. And, you know, 20 minutes of that would be spent getting my food if I didn't bring lunch with me. So I had to learn to eat lunch very fast. I used to get a half hour at the hospital. 15 minutes for a lunch? I feel like that's illegal. Pretty sure that's like federally illegal. You should look into that. Because that's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure by federal law, if you're working an 8-hour shift, you have to have a half-hour lunch break and 2 15-minute breaks. Unless you signed something that waived that. Even then. Yeah, that's fair. If you don't want to be there for like 13 hours for a 12-hour shift, that does make sense. Hate it, but it does make sense. Do you work 3/12s or 4/12s? Because 10s are pretty easy to break down. You know, you work 4/10s, but 12s are always interesting. Oh yeah, I don't miss anything about working a regular job, to be perfectly honest. I like the work that I do, the gig work. It is a lot less sure. And so I'm always in financial, like, not trouble, but definitely like, things are a little tighter right now because I'm between gigs. But I don't miss anything about going to a regular job, to be perfectly honest, besides financial stability. 3/12s at least isn't too bad, relatively speaking. 4/10s are good, though, if you have to go to a normal job. The hard one is when I'm working one of the big gigs that I do, and it's like, oh yeah, no, we're working 5/10s, sometimes 6 or 7/10s, depending on how crunched we've gotten. And because I'm a contractor, the 40-hour thing doesn't necessarily apply to me, but the over 10 hours, everything after 10 hours is overtime, so that's nice. Yeah, 12s are bizarre because like they feel like they shouldn't be that much worse than 10s because it's only a couple hours more. Man, those couple of hours just bite. Yeah, the gigs certainly get interesting sometimes, especially when it's like crunch time for the gig, like when we're going into, so I do a lot of work with Google Cloud. If we're going into like the summits or Google I/O or something like that, oh man, that certainly gets challenging because it's like we're going live on that day. There is no delay in this. And we absolutely have to have everything done by then. So, yeah, we're working a, 15-hour day. And we'll be back here at stupid o'clock in the morning. Because that's what has to happen. And I hate it. I want to get to level 50 with this girly. Come on. Yeah, Song of Mana is not a good weapon. It's better once it's fully developed, though. Like all of these, really. Yeah, I think the harder ones for me are when I know I'm going to have to be on site for 10 hours, and I also know just as much that there is absolutely nothing that I'm doing that day. Like there are days that I show up and it's like, I know for a fact that the only thing that we're doing today is setup. And I also know for a good goddamn fact that there is I really do need to look at my settings for stuff and things, because whoo boy, those breaks used to, those ad breaks used to warn me when they happened. Those 2 days ago. But yeah, it was very common for me to show up and be like, there's nothing that I can do until I get a script. I'm not going to get a script until tomorrow. So I'm just going to sit here and work on my own stuff, usually sitting and editing, which is nice. Like, I like getting paid to work on my own stuff. That's pretty cool. That's also incredibly frustrating in a way, because it's like, I didn't need to drive down here, you know, a 45-minute drive on a good day just to sit here and work on my own stuff. I could have stayed home. I could have slept in. I mean, I appreciate, you know, getting paid for the day to do nothing. But, phew. Yeah. But I totally feel that, Sam, where it's like 12 hours and 2 things to do. Cool. Love that for us. Yeah, I could be with my incredibly annoying, wonderful cats right now. Or, you know, working on something for streaming, or working on something for podcasting that doesn't require being somewhere else. I could be doing literally anything else, up to and including sleeping in. Which is my favorite thing to do when my cats let me. Man, this girl is just not leveling up very fast. Not a fan. Let's see. We'll go for fire wand. Run for it! Sometimes with these things, you just gotta dive for the one entrance you can see. Yeah, I don't like her main attack very much either. Song of Mana is not a very powerful attack. I'm close to having it fully leveled up, but in order to evolve it, I have to also have the Skullomaniac, and I hate that because the enemies are faster, and there's more of them, and I grump. But I am trying to get her up to level 50. I'm about halfway there right now, at 11 minutes in. But I also have garlic, so that will, I think, help. Because that's one of the unlocks that I can do. Sonic mayonnaise. I like that. It should be called that. That's about how effective it is. Song of Mana. That's at least partially, I think, down to the fact that I am not enunciating well because I am tired. The wind has calmed down at least. So I might go and try to record after I'm done here because I have a couple audiobooks. Hey Sam, I dare you to go and Google Sonic Mayonnaise and report back. Just, you know, maybe on your phone, so it's not on anything official. Hey. I need to figure out how to turn off the caps because it's really irritating. The caps thing. because it's really irritating. It's something that Nightbot does automatically, and it annoys me tremendously. But I'm gonna go and try and figure that out at some point. Alright, Song of Mana is significantly less irritating when it's actually fully evolved. Spinach. Tasty spinach. Alright, I do like Song of Mana much better once it's evolved. I will give it that. It's just one of those weapons that takes forever. Huh. So Sonic Mayonnaise comes up with the ingredients list for Sonic Mayonnaise, like the chain. That's fascinating. Is it significantly different from normal mayonnaise? Which is like, what, eggs and oil? I mean, mana is one of those old school gaming terms that everyone just kind of knows and uses without really, like, I'm not sure where that comes from. And I'd be interested to find out where, like, the concept of mana originally came from. Sonic just had to be special in trying to rename mayonnaise in their image or some shit. That's pretty excellent. Thank you for looking that up and risking your phone on that one. I think it is, but I'm not sure like how old mana is as a word for magic. Like, is that something that has just always been the case? Is that something that came about in like the Victorian era because we blame the Victorians for everything? I don't know. I'd be curious. I need to look into that because mana is one of those gamer words that everyone just sort of takes for granted, and I'm curious. Come on, so close to 50. So it actually looks like it was derived from the old meaning, which was power. Well, it makes sense then that that's what's used as the word for, you know, the energy that you use to power spells. That makes sense. And now it's technically now I can read really, and now it still technically means command, power, or authority, but I think it's used more colloquially as magic power. That makes sense. Come on, I'm so close. So close to 50 with this girl. There we go. Alright. Now she can die in peace. Ooh, did I just level up the Santa water? Yeah, I did. Good luck on the 2 things that you have to do today. And glad to help provide a little bit of noise in your background for whatever it is that you're up to today. Work and lurk, work and lurk, lurk and work. This is the funny point of the game where I can just stand still and have a sphere of death around me. This part highly amuses me. No, this is not the fully evolved garlic. Not yet. Just clearing a field around myself because I can. This is the fully evolved garlic. The soul eater. Heh. You're not wrong. Red ring of death for the garlic eating. It's true. It's very true. I never had an Xbox, so at least I managed to avoid that particular red ring of death. I still don't have an Xbox. I am much more on the PlayStation side of things. So you just have awful timing when it comes to PlayStations is what I'm seeing. Every PlayStation that I have owned has either been a gift, like with my most recent one, or I got used. So I wasn't super worried about that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm sure the PlayStation 6 is going to be announced any day now. I don't know what they're going to try to do to bump that up, but, you know. They got to keep themselves relevant with all of the hardware and stuff, I guess. Or something. There we go. Got my unlock that I wanted there. All right, I think that I am going to call it for the night here pretty quick because I'm tired. I've only really been awake for about 11 and a half hours, but I'm tired. There's been a lot going on the last few days. So I think I'm gonna dip out here pretty soon. It's been... Yeah, the Switch 2 thing is interesting to me. Like, I don't think that... Because, like, with the Wii and the Wii U, there was enough of a difference between the two consoles that I was like, yeah, no, I can see why you'd have a different console. I don't understand why they're doing a Switch 2 so soon, I guess. So, who knows, I guess. You know, if it makes money for them, cool, more power to them. Yeah, it's a time. Have a lovely evening, friends, and I will see you all next time. I should be back on Tuesday for more old games that I played when I was growing up. Wednesday, I'm planning to do more Dragon Age Origins, and Thursday, Dan and I will be here with Vampire the Masquerade if all goes well. And there's always the risk of things not going well, so, you know, knock on wood and all that fun stuff. But until then, have a lovely time, friends, and good night.